It's all good. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's Brett Gregory. I'm so excited to be here with you as always, and I've got an amazing treat for you today. As always, if you're just joining us, please go over to the chat bar and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from. I'm going to make a little note there. If you're just joining us, tell us what city and country you're tuning in from so we can give you a shout out and welcome our global audience. And I've got a very special treat for you today. So I'm going to be introducing you to my friend Marisa Murgatroyd, and she's got some amazing content for you today. So Marisa, as I said, Marisa Murgatroyd, she's the founder of Live Your Message, where she turns entrepreneurs into online superheroes. I remember the first time I saw you, Marisa, I saw your online superheroes, and I was so impressed. It's like such an amazing brand that you've built. And at 4'11" and a quarter, she's called the shortest woman in marketing, and that does not stop her from having absolutely huge ideas. And she is really the go-to brand builder for industry luminaries and heavyweights such as Justin Livingston, Callan Rush, Danny Inney, Alexis Neely, and Susan Pierce Thompson. And Marisa helps create businesses, a business that's authentic and aligned with who you are and to empower you to turn up the dial on your inner superhero so you can be the superhero to your tribe as well as in your own lives. And she's the go-to brand builder. Oh, and so I mentioned a little bit about who she works with, and she's got some amazing content for you today. So Marisa, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for hosting me. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Joseph from Australia. We got Cindy from Appleton, Gayle from Montreal. Hey, Colleen from Texas. We got Michael from Los Angeles. So keep them coming. If you're just joining us, go to the chat box and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from, so I can give you a little shout out. So Marisa, thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Well, tell us, tell us a little bit about what you're doing, what you're up to now, and what we can expect to learn from you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what we're up to is basically debunking the idea that info products and information in general are king in our industry. So recently, I heard that something like 97% of people who buy info products, courses, and trainings don't complete those products and get the results from them. And I found it really shocking. Go ahead.
It is shocking, and I can attest that that number is 100% true. So as somebody who's created over 21 information products, when I expected that you create an information product and people consume it. That was it. That's all you had to do. But it's actually not that simple, as I discovered. When I went back and I did the research on my first information product, I almost fell out of my chair when I saw how many people did not finish. I was able to go into the analytics and look at it, and it was like 91% didn't finish it, and I fell out of my chair. I couldn't believe it. So this is an epidemic, and you're absolutely right.
Totally. And then you have the numbers that don't finish it, and then you have the people who finish it but don't put the training into action because they stay in learning mode and never go to doing mode and implementation mode. So when you look at the numbers of people who finish and get results, it's about 3%. And we're in an industry.
Crazy. That is crazy. I mean, it's distressing, but it's like also creates an incredible opportunity. Incredible. And the thing that I really like about this situation is I believe that it's a calling to us as coaches to step it up. You can't just record, hit the record button and expect that people are going to get a lot of value out of it. It takes significantly more. And I think you cracked the code on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So after just hearing about this situation, watching it with all of my peers who are creating classes, looking at the statistics, looking at my own students, even though my courses were performing a lot better than the industry average, I was still leaving like 80–90% of the people behind. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to leave 80–90% of my customers behind. So I kind of challenged myself to figure out how could I provide a deeper level of engagement with my customers. And I did an experiment with a brand new program called Call to Adventure. And I started to take cues from the world of video games and entertainment and reality TV, because in the last few months, and by the way, I started these tests before, but it really started to become clearer and clearer to me when I started the global phenomenon that's Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Where literally, have you seen the footage of stampedes in the streets of Santa Monica in New York City when some Pokemon character spawns in Central Park, and people are double parking their cars, they're getting out, they're running with their cell phones to catch these little virtual creatures. And I'm talking about adults. I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about grown adults. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you look at the actual mechanism of what's going on, can you imagine people like double parking their car, getting out and running to take action on your info product? I mean, seriously, if that could happen, that would be extraordinary, right?
Cool. And I want to do let's do a quick little check-in here with our audience. A little shout out to a few other people who've logged in recently. Say hi to Donnie and Michael and Yvonne. Hey, Yvonne, good to see you back here. And Lynn, Buzz and Lynn are here. Pam, good to see all of you. And I want to do a check-in to see if you, number one, if you have an information product already, or you intend to create an information product. Write the word yes in the control box so I can check and see who is in the information product marketing world here. So if you have,
by the way, these do go by a lot of other names. You might hear them called online courses, home study programs, continuity programs, group coaching, group training, even done for you services, coaching and consulting that's information based. This applies to you when you have to convey information and you actually need your customer or the audience member to take action on the information that you give them.
Well, you make a really good point, because there's a lot of formats of information products. I mean, this, my book is actually an information product when you really break it down. And, a DVD product is how we used to deliver these kind of things. I mean, before that, it was tape. So there's a lot of things that you can call it. But let's see who's got an information product or who is about to create one. Sean says yes. Galit says intends to create one. Lynn, yes. Brian, yes. Colleen, Joel, Yvonne, Stephanie, Joseph. Okay, so I think we're in the right group here. So we've got lots of info products, people who have them, or people who are intending to create them. That's helpful. So go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so when I started to look at what is going on, why is reality TV so addictive? Why are video games so addictive? I remember I had a client 3 or 4 years ago who was the CEO of a running company. And he went and created this 300-page book about running that didn't do that well. And it was a really, really freaking good book. And that very same year, the Zombies Run app came out on the cell phone. And people were just having this zombie apocalypse storyline, and they were getting out and running way more than his 10 years of experience, really helping people learn how to run and helping people who were, inactive really get moving again. So as I started to look at what's really going on here, and started to realize the trends and look at what's happening in our industry, I realized that the information, the way that we've been taught to create products is fundamentally wrong. We're using 18th century education practices in a 21st century world. In the 18th century, people had hours of attention span, right? And in the 21st century, as of the last few years, our attention span is now 7 seconds, which is 1 second less than a goldfish. Right?
Wow,
so you are teaching to goldfish,
That's 6 seconds longer than I thought mine was. That's incredible.
Totally. So we've got to change the way that we work with people's attention. Plus, we're in a world of 1 billion websites and 300 million news sites coming online every single year. And if you look at the amount of content being uploaded to YouTube every single second and consumed on YouTube, Google and YouTube are just a library of free information. And if you think about it, if information alone were effective in having people change their lives, Google would have made us all hot and fit and lovable and with the relationship of our dreams and vital health. We'd be living in Googletopia, right? But we're not. So something clearly is going wrong with the system. So what I realized is I've been taught to value this thud factor. And thud factor.
What's a thud factor?
Thud factor is the sound of a lot of information landing on your doorstep or your desk. And the old school method of info product creation was about creating thud factor, give them everything they could possibly ever need or want to know to get to the results. And what happens that I realized is this phenomenon called a downward experience escalation cycle, basically a negative experience escalation cycle. So what happens when you get this huge amount of information, just think about the last time you've logged on to a course. All of a sudden you get 4 emails in your inbox, you open one up, it's 10 paragraphs long, and the first thing that you say is, I don't have time to look at this right now, I'm gonna come back to it later. And then maybe even if you do click through and you land on a membership site, and you see all of these videos and things, and you think, I don't have time for this. I'm going to come back to it later.
So what and I want to check in. So if you're watching this and if you've experienced the thud factor, which I really like that, it's this thud of information, way too much information coming at you from someone else's information product that you've experienced. Write the word yes. Let's just see if you've felt this on the other side, because it's really interesting to look at what is it like to be one of your consumers. Put yourself in your customer's shoes first, you know, as you're going to be creating your own information product. What is it like to be your customer? So have you had that thud experience where you've gone to, you know, purchase somebody else's information product and will have this tidal wave, this tsunami of information come back to you, and you just say, wow, that's too overwhelming, I can't do it. If you have, write the word yes. Colleen says, yep, I've been thudded, I love it. Joseph said, yes. Brian, Yvonne, Michael, yeah, everybody's gotten the overload experience. So I think people can relate to this.
Yeah. So what I've redefined thud factor as the sound of your customers' hopes and dreams falling to the floor in despair, because that's what I think the thud factor really is. And that's why 97% of people don't complete your products and get results from them, right?
Wow, that is incredibly insightful. I agree.
So when you look at what's going on in the brain, and a lot of this has a neurological basis, it's not just, you know, a phenomenon that's happened, but we have an ancient system in our brain called the reward and punishment system.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're actually winning, when we're moving towards our expectations and achieving our goals, our brain releases like this powerful cocktail of happy chemicals that make us feel joy and triumph and happiness and excitement and feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're not moving towards our goal and achieving our expectations, it actually blocks the release of those happy chemicals. So you start to feel overwhelmed and frustrated and stuck and confused, and you're not feeling the excitement anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So inadvertently, what happens almost from moment one of day one in this info product world is you start people on this negative experience escalation cycle, where instead of experiencing a win, they're experiencing overwhelm from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So when you flip this cycle, if you really flip this on its head, and you start with one of the core principles that I call constant wins, where you're actually setting your customers up to win from day one and moment one of day one, all of a sudden, you can actually give your customer either one small action or task or to-do list item that they can check off right away. So what I've been experimenting with, for example, when people sign up for a new Experience Product Masterclass, instead of going to say, go check your email, I've sent you the login information and all the information in there, they redirect to a confirmation page where I give them like a celebration video and their first win right there on that page. So no waiting through emails, no waiting through membership sites. They get it right then and there. And they're encouraged to start taking action from moment one of day one, not being buried in information.
So just to quick recap, so the reward and punishment systems in our brains are the things that can cause us to either quit or keep going. And yes. So, and I love the idea, you know, you gave the analogy of people in Pokemon Go and how, you know, it appears how crazy people have gotten over it, but they are super motivated. And so clearly the reward system in their brain has been completely engaged to get them double parking and running to try and achieve whatever goal that is. And if we can take those exact same mechanisms that all humans shared, and we can use that to create the same kind of response, or at least, even if we got that much more response to people in our information products by giving them some kind of a reward, that will really help motivate them to actually consume the information that they just purchased.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at video games are really smart. So they know how to give people the adequate level of challenge. So for a successful video game, it increases the challenge level about 25% per level. So your level of challenge goes up 25% with each level. Mm-hmm. So it's just enough that people feel like they're growing and they're evolving and they're challenging themselves, but not so much that they start to feel like, I can't do this, I can't progress, I can't make it to the next level. But on info products, a lot of times you're like dropped into the deep end of the pool. All right, now it's time to figure out your marketing message in, you know, a 3-hour webinar, right? And you're like, yeah. Oh my God, this is way more than I can do, rather than stair-stepping people up through small actions that build and turn and escalate into big results. So when you're able to really chunk your content down, you're able to help them build people to build their confidence and build their belief in themselves and build their momentum organically by working with the way the brain likes to learn. And the really critical thing about doing this is not only is it a lot more respectful for people and understanding of the world that we live in, but you're actually going to have people stair step up and start to believe they can do this. And belief is the number one reason that people either don't buy, or if they buy, they don't consume. So a lot of us have resistance to changing our lives. And when we see this downward experience escalation, because all of a sudden it's like all this information, you're giving people an out for something that they said that they wanted.
So tell me, let me just go back to this, what you just said. You said belief is the number one reason why people don't buy or don't consume. Do you mean the belief that they can or cannot achieve their particular goal?
Yes, and for the most part, they can't achieve it. And as experts, it's really interesting because our audience often puts us on a pedestal and they think, well, you did it because you're the expert, but I can't necessarily do it. And as someone who's newer in business, it's really common to be scared of doing things wrong or to think that you need more information. And this whole info product, market that's out there is kind of feeding that notion that all they need to do is consume more information and learn more to solve their problems. But the truth is, it's really making the leap from learning into doing an implementation, which is where the real results come in. So if you actually create that structure of implementation and action from day one, you're able to build people's belief by helping them take action, which gives them more motivation and more commitment. And they think they can do it because they're starting to get evidence that they're on the right track.
So I want to check in with you if you're just tuning in or if you're listening to us. We're talking about how to consume, how to create your information products in such a way to get your customers to consume them and realize the value of all the information that you're giving them. So tell us so pretty much everybody who was on said that they either have an information product or are going to create an information product. If that's the case, what is your information product about? So just tell us right now, go into the chat. Now, maybe if you already have the information product, tell us the title. If you are, in process of creating it, tell us what it's about. Even if you haven't even started yet, tell us what your information product is going to be about so we can as to who you are, what you're doing, and then maybe Marisa can share some really cool information on how to get your customers to actually consume your information product and actually go all the way through, which is what's going to be really critical ultimately in helping you grow your business. So Colleen Hammond says, helping women craft their personal brands through clothing choices, manners, and poise to build confidence and empower success. Awesome. Stephanie does animal communication. Lynn, I think you said reinventing lives. Joel, equip parents to deal with teenage drug use. Awesome. Okay, these are all like incredible ideas. So Marisa, tell us, how do we, what's the first step? So now we know that there's a big problem. You told us kind of how the mechanics of the problem work a little bit. It's the reward system in our brains that we're not doing a good job activating. So what do we do about that?
Yeah, well, the first thing to do is to be able to create a one-sentence, super clear and specific mission around your product. So what I'd like you to do is actually fill in the blank here. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is blank. It's actually the mission, impossible template is the best template I know how to do this. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is blank. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to create your first lucrative experience product in 8 weeks or less. So what I've done there, that's going to transform your business and your customers' lives, is I've boiled down the entire focus of my product into one sentence. So you know exactly what the core benefit is, and you know how long it's going to take you to reach it. So what I heard from a lot of the different posts that were there's nothing wrong with it. You have an idea, and it's a process-oriented idea. It's like the topic itself in the raw format of the topic. Now, I would love for you to post those ideas as what is the one sentence result that people will get from going through this. So goal achievement, performance enhancement, status enhancement, completing projects. Those are some of the most powerful motivators that help people feel like they're, for them to start to feel like they're moving towards their goals and expectation, there has to be a goal or a result that they're trying to achieve, right? If you don't know what you're trying to achieve and what the ultimate outcome is, it's hard to feel like you're making constant wins towards that outcome because it's more of a process than it is like a destination with a finish line. So I recommend crafting that one sentence mission.
Okay, so let's do that, everybody, so that we can read it and help give you some feedback here. So go ahead and write here, if I understood it correctly. What's the one sentence result that your customers should have from your information product? Don't worry if it's not created yet. This is the right way to do it, to start with this result first and then work backwards from there. But in one sentence, what is the big result you want your customers to achieve? So, David, in Awaken to the Now, what's the one result you want your customers to achieve from your program? Yvonne, your 7 minutes to training the massage therapist to go from employee, business owners effortlessly and purposefully and profitable. Good, you probably are really close to your one sentence. Joseph, not to wait to become the best possible you. So tell us, what is as succinctly as you can in one sentence, the result that you want your customers to get, and then we can read some of them off and give you some feedback. So Pam.
So let's take that one about become the best possible you as an example.
Sure.
So this is something that I've heard a lot of people say, but what exactly does that mean? Like in what context? So there's a lot of different ways that you can become the best possible you. And we all want to become the best possible us, but there's so many domains of our life, right?
Yeah.
You've got purpose, you've got relationship, you've got health, you've got your sense of attractiveness, you've got all sorts of domains there. You may have business or career, right? It could even be spirituality. It could be any number of things. It could be like your living environment, right? But what is a domain in which you want people to become the best possible them? It might just be confidence. It could be communication.
Sure. So Joseph, take another stab at it. And for those of you, like Sean wrote, I don't know. It's totally okay if you don't know. This is the place to give it a shot, though. Go out and give it a try and take your best stab at it, and let's see how it how it unfolds, and then we'll try and give you some feedback. So Colleen Hammond, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to look and feel like $1 million every day of your life, increase your status and income. So what feedback would you give Colleen there?
Yeah, so what I don't know is, how do you know when you're going to look like $1 million, right? Mm-hmm. And there's also my curiosity. I think overall it's really, really good, but I feel like it sounds like a process rather than a destination. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is in 30 days or less, feel like every day when you wake up, get into your clothes, you look $1 million, and you can walk into any room, show up, and know that you can ask for $1 million too, right? Where whatever it happens to be, but it's more time-based. So we know that there's going to be a result. So for example, when it comes to personal fashion and personal branding too, is there a particular context when they want to look like $1 million? So one of the things that I've learned, for example, when it comes to fashion, and I learned this from my friend Mary of Suburbia, like one of the top Etsy brands and retailers, is that your wardrobe should actually reflect how you spend your time. So for example, if you're spending 80% of your time, like me, schmutzing around in front of the computer at home, my home office, right? Then you actually need like 80% of your clothes to be like schmutz clothes, right? And so what I started to invest in, and I'm serious, is luxury casual clothing, right? I actually have my own company has our t-shirt line and everything else, but usually, I want to feel amazing even while I'm at home. So I started to invest in clothes that, are kind of like upgraded yoga clothes that I can feel really good in, feel like I can do an interview or a Skype call in, but still feel great. So there's, when you say look like $1 million, is it about the look, or is it about a feeling? I think there's like a deeper level there. Is there context in which they look? Is it being comfortable in their own skin? Is it being able to, know what to wear for every occasion? Like there's like a deeper level there still that you can get to, that I'm excited. And also, what kind of women too? Is this professional women? Are they speakers? Are they, are they corporate women? Like what kind of women, and why do they want to look like $1 million? So
it sounds like you want to give, kind of narrow it down more for your niche, as well as give them some kind of parameters in this sentence so that people would know whether or not they've achieved that goal. Is that an accurate?
Yeah, so there's actually a kind of combining two things. One is there's a mission statement, which is the benefit. There's also the vision of their future self. So you always usually want to follow a mission statement very quickly by the vision of their future self. And that is, how are they going to feel? What is the experience once they've achieved that result? So, you might have the one sentence mission that you just say, I have a product about this, but almost always you want to follow it up with the future self vision so they can actually imagine what it's going to be like on the other side of having achieved that result. And the reason why is that while a goal can be powerfully motivating for someone, studies actually show when you can visualize yourself achieving that goal, and by visualize, it's not just like imagining it, but actually feeling and experiencing that almost kinesthetically in your body, you're something like 80% more likely to actually go through and do the work. So when sometimes
I think it's even higher, and that's sort of the value of a vision board and a dream board, and when you actually do exactly what you just said, I've heard statistics as high as 90% higher, more likely to achieve and fulfill that goal.
Yeah, so Shelley, it's really, really good. And I think as a mission, I would just add specificity, if possible, of the kind of person this is for, and then go deeper into the vision of their future self. So they can almost imagine what this is going to feel like for them once they've achieved this.
Yeah.
And make it more time-based so they know when they'll have achieved the result as well.
I like that. Okay, fantastic. Well, you guys have been doing great. We've got submissions here from Colleen says, great feedback. Thank you. We got submissions here from Pam and Sean and Yvonne and Bobby. You guys are doing fantastic. Okay, so what's the next step that we want to take in terms of, so we've got the mission, we know what the big goal is for our product that we want our customers to achieve. What do we do next?
Yeah, so the next thing is to figure out what's stopping people from getting that goal. So a lot of times, like I said, people don't buy if they don't believe they can do it. So I was working with one of my clients, Steph Ritz, and Steph had a retreat that she was calling the Redwoods Retreat. And I was like, I gave her the feedback, it wasn't the best name in the world because you don't really know what that means, right? And so I helped her rebrand that, first of all, to Write Your Book in Paradise. So can you even see that? And the reason why, I said, well, what if you do it sometime where it's not at the Redwoods, right? So if you're doing Write Your Book in the Redwoods, but then what happens when you want to do it somewhere else? So create the Write Your Book in Paradise series of retreats where paradise changes, the destination of paradise changes every time you do a retreat. And now already mission accomplished is in the name of the product, right? So it's a much more powerful product brand than it was before.
So wait, tell me the name with the word mission accomplished in there.
Well, Write Your Book in Paradise. So the name reflects the...
I see what you're saying. Got it. Okay.
It's a lot more compelling as a name than just Redwoods Retreat.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
Yeah, right? But not only did we do that, the first time she offered her Redwoods Retreat, she only sold one ticket at $1,000 or $2,997, right? And she tried to figure out, well, what went wrong? Why were people not signing up for this? And she did something really, really good. What she realized is that when she talked to all the different people of why and figured out why they weren't signing up, what they realized is that writing a book is a massive, massive undertaking, right? And for most people, what happens is they did not want to go to a retreat if they weren't sure what their book was about.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? So she realized that they didn't want to feel behind before they even got started.
Yeah.
So what she was able to do the next time around when she offered it, as part of the offer, as soon as they sign up, she gave them a private one-on-one book outlining session before the retreat started. So they knew they'd have an outline before they arrived, so they'd have their topic and they'd have the overall flow of the book. So when they showed up for their retreat, they knew what they were writing.
That is fabulous. So, okay, so here's what I want you to do. If you're watching this right now, we talked about what is your customer's big goal, like what's their mission. Now go ahead and write, what do you believe your customer feels is stopping them? What's holding them back? What's the bridge that they are going to need to cross? And this is going to help you, give you some insight to help you, definitely get more customers, get more people purchasing your product, and actually getting more people completing your product. So right now, go into the questions box and tell us what you think your customers think is holding them back. And then you said something else in there that I want to key in on. You said that she went and spoke to her customers. And I think that's a step that I don't see taught all the time. So it's something that I'm personally very passionate about, talking to customers. asking your customers the question. Don't worry if you haven't, gone and interviewed your customers yet. But and what I want you to do right now is let's give us your best guess at what you think is holding your customers back. What's going on in their minds. But then make a commitment to speak to them and verify that and see if that is in fact the thing that is holding them back. So,
and before you give the results, I actually want to contextualize this a little bit more. One of my most famous quotes is, before you can make money while you sleep, you've got to be able to make money while you're awake first. That's what I tell all my customers. So before you go out and try to leverage this magic bullet solution, you might want to talk to people to find out first, is it really a magic bullet solution? Because it might be
going to use that. I'll give you full credit for that quote, but that was brilliant.
Right. So, ask them, is this what they really want? Is this really going to be what's going to help you? I mean, I live in this world where I do websites for a lot of 7-figure and 8-figure and even 9-figure entrepreneurs. And what I've learned from, say, analytics, which isn't the most sexy topic to talk about, but is that when you run a split test to test 2 pages, you never know which is going to be the result. Whatever you think is going to win, you don't know, because the numbers speak louder than what you think people want and are going to respond to time after time after time. So before you give the results, I wanted to share Steph's results. So when we rebranded the name of her retreat, and when we also, added this new book outlining session to it, she got the very next retreat number 2, she made almost $20,000 in sales.
Wow.
So it was a 10x increase in sales. And now number 3, she's almost sold out of her retreat. It's happening in a month or 2. She's almost sold out of her retreat. And half of the tickets were from referrals, because the core advantage of experience products, which is what I'm naming this new breed of product that's replacing information products, is that when you do this really well, you can actually get off the marketing hamster wheel of feeling like you have to market more and more aggressively for fewer sales at declining price points, which is what the industry is seeing right now. And when I talk to people about their business, they say they hate marketing, right? They feel like they're spending all their time trying to get customers. And it almost feels like the politician who spends all their time trying to get reelected and less time serving and governing. But when you spend your focus on making your products that much better and getting people results that much more, then all of a sudden they start to spread the word for you. I've had people bring 27 people to one of my live events. It's incredible what happens when you create this, this upward spiral of growth for your customers. They love you, they adore you, they will just rave about you and spread the word for you out of gratitude. And then all of a sudden you can actually completely stop marketing, because if each customer is so happy with their experience and gets the results that they refer 1.3 more customers, that is the magic ratio to end marketing forever. Your business will grow 20% without having to do any more marketing. Now, can you imagine that world?
So you've said, I want to go over what you've said, several points. So I want to recap them because they were so good. And to your point, Yvonne said, I've heard of that, write your book in paradise. So there's a perfect example. Somebody who is listening to this has heard of the retreat that your customer is doing. So it's clearly working. But I do want to touch on a few of the things that people wrote so we can give them a little bit of feedback. So these are people who are saying, so let's say Bob E says, some of his clients don't believe in themselves enough to think that they can make changes in their behavior. That's a good one. That's a big one, Bob. Colleen says they don't know what looks best for their body type, coloring, lifestyle, and personality. Okay, that's good. Yvonne says, I think they can't find enough customers to go into business full time. You're probably right there. David, self-sabotage of time, energy, and focus. Okay, good one. Lynn, afraid it won't work and things won't change. And Joseph says, where do I start? So those are all really good ones. Did any stand out for you?
Yeah, well, what I wanted to make a point is there's what you think is in the way for them and what is actually in the way. And it's not always the same thing.
Yeah.
For example, with Colleen and about the style again, and just because I'm already thinking about one, is people don't know what looks good for their body type, but there's a bigger, deeper objection, which is people not feeling they're attractive at all. Right? And if you really think about what's really stopping them, they might not admit it. But very few women, if you look at the studies and what Dove's campaign and everything else, very few women are comfortable in their own skin. So there's a deeper level of objection even to that one of not knowing what looks good on you, that might precede them even being able to say yes, and to feel like they can own and be comfortable in their own skin, and as well. So as an example.
Yeah, 100%. I think when you identify, and this is why I like talking to customers, but you made a really good point of what is, you might know what the real deeper problem is, but what the customer thinks it is could very well be something different. But then why don't you touch on that? In your marketing, do you want to address it from the customer's perspective, right? You want to help them, if they think that it is going back to Colleen's issue, it's just, oh, I just need kind of the latest new fashion wardrobe. We may know that that's actually not the real issue. There's a deeper issue there. But how do you tell people to appeal to that, to their actual customer, when their customer thinks it's one thing and we know it's actually something else?
Right. So a lot of times, one of the principles of the experience formula, and by the way, there's a 10-point experience formula that I actually teach and give in this video series, in this training series that we're offering right now, is peak emotional experiences. So many people make the mistake of trying to teach to the brain and teach to the intellect, and we don't change from engaging our intellects alone. Most people change when they get deeply emotionally involved in what's going on through the creation of a peak emotional experience. And there's about 10 different strategies that you can use to create peak emotional experiences. And one of them is story. So Colleen, you probably have, I imagine, if you're in this particular business, some kind of origin story of what made you go into this particular business to begin with. And there are a lot of different kinds of origin stories. And one kind of origin story is what I call a hero's journey origin story, which is usually coming against a challenge in your own life, and that kind of sent you into a process of questioning about this particular topic. And you probably hit a few more challenges too before you came out of it and found your solution. But a lot of times, whether you're telling your story or telling the story of a customer, what it's doing, which is another principle, by the way, is normalizing challenges. One of the biggest problems in our industry is that people think they're going to lose sales if everything is not simple, easy, push button, right? And what happens when you frame everything as simple, easy, and push button is that your customers are unprepared for the challenges that are entirely normal when they face this journey. So then when they come up against this challenge and all of a sudden they're like blindsided by them and they think there's something wrong or they're not getting it and they start to get frustrated. So one of the reasons you want to incorporate a lot of storytelling into your work is you're actually picking stories. Sometimes it's real life stories. You can actually tell myths and all kinds of fake, make-believe stories as well. It doesn't really matter. But a story can actually mirror the arc and the journey that in the psychology that your customer is on. So instead of speaking directly to, you know what, you're not comfortable in your body, you're just like, whoa, hello, talk to the hand, instead of doing that, you want to really tell a story that might mirror the journey that they're on. So this is kind of what I call side door coaching, is like when you're almost coaching somebody else, right? The person can receive the message because it's not directly towards them. So their defense mechanisms aren't going up into full alert of, oh my God, I'm not comfortable. They're talking to me about something that, I don't really want to go there right now.
Yeah, well, I agree 100%. I think I really love the idea of the storytelling, and that goes back to the parts of your brain that fire, that keep you either motivated or unmotivated. I find that story can really hook into that motivated part and really get people to bridge the gap of I can't do it. They hear that you did it or someone else did it who they can relate to, and they can do that very quickly and directly through story. So I'm a big fan, especially the hero's journey, kind of the way that you laid it out. Tell us a little bit about your what you have coming up, the experience product phenomenon, and the launch that you have coming up that we're going to be talking about here in just a minute.
Yeah, so what I've been doing after running my first experiments and trying to do a product that would not leave any of my customers behind, and testing a lot of these strategies on my business and on a lot of my customers' businesses, the results that we've been seeing are phenomenal. I mean, I think I saw in my last class that I taught using these principles, Call to Adventure, we had a 76% engagement rate of people coming on the line, 5 days straight for 3 hours a day. And that was before I realized that was way longer than people could sustain their attention. And I'm doing things a little bit shorter now. But I was doing these courses for 5 days straight for 3 hours a day. And we had 76% of the people. I had 108 people in the course go through it and just be on the line every single day. Now, compared to 3%, that's a pretty phenomenal jump from 3% to 76%. And what we also saw is that had a positive ripple effect on the results they were getting, the number of people who upsold into our future courses. So what we found is in a 3-month period, those 108 customers ended up being worth $1,000, I think almost $1,300 for us per customer in just 3 months. And that's a pretty fast ascension cycle for someone to move through our business because they were really excited about the results they were getting. We were delivering value, and because we were delivering value, they wanted to stay in our world and invest more money more often so we could make a bigger difference in their lives. So after seeing these trends myself and seeing what a huge difference it made with my customers, I realized that I needed to teach this and to share this information and share this whole experience formula with the world, because I really think our industry is at a crisis point. I think if you're building information products today, you're essentially trying to open, a Blockbuster video store after Netflix has been invented, and it's not going to work, right? The first rule of investment is not to invest in a dying industry. And for the first time ever last year, the self-paced e-learning industry actually decreased by 3%.
Wow.
And that's the first time in history that's ever happened, because I think we're at the beginning of a massive trend where this industry is completely going to bottom out. And so right now there's an incredible opportunity to jump on and understand that people learn in a very different way than we've been taught that they learn, and that we've been creating products around. So I've created an entire 10-point experience formula methodology and blueprint to help you not just to design, market, and deliver these kinds of products that work for today's world. And the ultimate goal is to 10x your customers' results. And when you do, you 10x your sales, and you can actually get off the marketing treadmill once and for all, because they start to spread the word for you once they get the success that you can accomplish with them. And it's an approach that makes my customers feel just a lot better about their products and their business, because it doesn't feel good if you know that the people who are in your business and going through your products are not getting results. So I really wanted to share this with you. It's a completely free, ebook there, The Experience Product Phenomenon. It's a special report with a lot of these findings, and just so you can go through and start to apply this to your products and make a bigger difference.
So what Maurice is talking about right now, I'm going to just put this up here on the screen, is, and I'm going to give you the link here, and you can, for many of you who come on and see us regularly, you know that I'll give the link here on my Facebook page, and what you're going to get is the Experience Product Phenomenon, how to 10x your sales and skyrocket client results so you can have more fun in your business. So just do me a favor, you kind of give us the overview, but tell us what's the critical parts that people are going to learn here in this download that they're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I give you, I'd give you exactly where we are historically and what's going on with the world and why this is so important to do right now.
Sure.
I'm also giving you the full case study of what I did in Call to Adventure and why that worked so well to get so many more people to invest. And I teach 2 of the most important strategies for you to learn in depth so you can start to apply those to your customers, and actually have you go through a few exercises with me on the video and post them in the chat so I can give you feedback on this. So you can start to see the potential of creating experience products rather than information products, because I really think that you've got this opportunity to basically buy stock in Netflix on day one by doing something that nobody's been talking about. Like, everybody knows this has been a problem in the industry for a long time, and everyone just continues to produce products of this way because there has not been an alternative until now.
Yeah, and I think it's so fascinating. I'm going to stop this screen share for a second. For me, it's been a really fascinating journey trying to figure out how to get more people to complete our programs, because we know that that's when they actually go through the information, they will get a much, much better result. And the other thing that you had said earlier is, if you can deliver a lot of value to people, they can start referring other people to you. And the magic number where you said for every customer equals 1.3 new customers, meaning each customer refers you to at least, to more than one other person who ends up becoming a customer, then you literally never have to market again. And the way to do that is not more marketing. The way to do that is to follow kind of the formula that you give here and help your customers have a better experience in consuming your product, doing the things that it's going to take to motivate them, to give them the correct rewards when they should get them. That helps them get to the next module or the next chapter or the next step that they're going to take, correct?
Absolutely. And it's ironic that the whole secret to getting off the marketing hamster wheel to begin with and enjoying your business and feeling much better is to serve more and to innovate in the way that you deliver what you do, which has been the foundation of business forever. But somehow our industry's gotten really off track and kind of myopic in its focus of just trying to do this make money while you sleep, push button, magic bullet, instant success, that it's just been on this downward spiral that's leaving the majority of the industry behind. And what you're going to see across the industry is dropping prices and declining sales, and people having to market more and more aggressively for less and less sales. And it's like more people are saying the same thing in the same way for smaller and smaller bits of information. And it's not a hamster wheel that I want to be on, and I want to teach people how to get off of it, right?
So what's a quick example with, or maybe even an exercise, something that we can do, the information that you can share with our listeners, that so they can take on their existing information product or the one that they are going to create? What's one of the first things that they can do to help implement something, this reward system? And the word gamification is comes up in my mind because I've been studying gamification, which is like how do you use that video game reward system in your information products. So what's something that people can do, just like right away to implement in their information product?
Sure, absolutely. So one example is a feedback loop, and there are lots and lots of forms of feedback loop, and some feedback loops are actually viral in that they can incorporate other people that aren't part of your class, which bring more people into contact with your program, but that's a whole nother thing. So one example is I've got a $300 info product called Hidden Story Power. That's one of the first ones I made 4 years ago. And what I integrated into Hidden Story Power is quarterly story celebrations. So every quarter, my students get an invite to come on the line with me and other members of the community to share their story for 5 minutes and then get 5 minutes of my laser focused feedback. Now for a $300 product, my time is $1,000 an hour. For them to get, 10 minutes of my attention is actually worth, more than they invested in the program at least, right? And they can come back every single quarter and refine their story and get more feedback. But this one little feedback loop of having them be able to every quarter get on the phone with me, share their story, and get feedback has really, really helped that course and created much more connection with me and my students in that course. And there's other things that we do, other feedback loops, like people are posting on the Facebook group. Within a day of getting into this product, they're already sharing their stories. Like people are writing and sharing their stories a lot of times within a day or definitely within a week. So how can you incorporate feedback loops that really get people into action, have them share with you, with the community, and get feedback so they know that they're on the right track? They've got that positive reinforcement. It motivates them to actually do the work because they know there's going to be a context for them to share it, get some validation, and not be this anonymous person going through your course, but someone who is seen, heard, understood, and valued for who they are.
Okay, so let's do some brainstorming here, team. Let's crowdsource this. What's your favorite feedback loop idea? In what you just mentioned, so I'm just going to start here. So go ahead and put it in the chat right now. So here's an example of the feedback loop. And remember, this is going to make an enormous difference on the impact that you're going to have in your customers and subsequently the referrals that you're going to get and how to perpetuate the viral spread and the word of mouth marketing and the referrals that you're going to get. So this is a really big deal. Don't take this lightly. Everybody take a stab at this right now. And the method of brainstorming is you just throw out the ideas. Don't worry if they're good or not. throw them out, meaning go right now, go to the chat bar and put it down. So I put one feedback loop idea. Have your customers share their experiences in a Facebook group. Okay, so that's one example. So for example, let's say they do module 1 of your program, whatever that is, and then they go in and they share their experience of what they learned, what were their biggest challenges, what were their biggest, frustrations, what were their biggest wins and successes that they share in the Facebook group, and that helps give them the positive feedback. It helps bring the other people together. So what example or what idea do you have that you can put in as a positive feedback loop for your program? And do you have another one that you and here's another one that I use a lot in our groups, where we have people partner up with one another inside the group with as an accountability partner. And they'll have their accountability partners and they'll post in the Facebook group, again, a positive feedback loop to help motivate people get to the next step. So Dominique says, visual branding critiques every month on what they're marketing, on their marketing or website. That's excellent, Dominique. That's a really good one. So is that the kind of thing that that would work, Marisa?
Oh, absolutely. People love that look over your shoulder critiques, giving that opportunity. I think Evan Pagan is really well known for doing these website analyses for a few seconds, and everyone sends his websites and he reviews them and says why they're crappy, basically. People love it.
And it's actually extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Lynn says a success selfie page. That could be cool. I can see that. I could see that totally working, Lynn. Colleen Hammond says, I do monthly before and after makeovers where women can share their progress. That's awesome. Yeah, I really, really like that as a feedback loop. Okay, so what other, so right now, just go into the chat box and put in any kind of a feedback loop that you can foresee. Just throw it out there. Don't worry about whether it's good or not. This is when the rule of brainstorming is we just go and put it out there. And when you come up with a lot of different ideas, a lot of times you hit on one that's really going to work for you and your community. Okay, so if you have gotten value out of Marisa's talk so far, write the word value. So right now, if you've gotten value out of this, just go, write the word value. If you've gotten huge value, write huge value. But any sort of value that you've gotten, right there, go into the questions box, the chat box, and write the word value. Okay, so go ahead and do that now. And then what I'm going to do here, so Lynn says value, and Yvonne, David, Yosef, Buzz, wow, it's coming too fast. Okay, you guys are getting value. This is great. Okay, so what I'm going to do here quickly, and for those of you who have seen us do this before, I'm going to give you a nice little opportunity here. So remember, you can go to my Facebook page. And so I'm just going to post this link. So it's facebook.com/like-Brett. So this is the free gift that Marisa was just talking about. So right now, go to facebook.com/like-Brett and go ahead and write in the comments here. So there's 3 things we want you to do. Number 1, click the like button, give us a like or a little emoji con. That's always fun. Write a comment. And so the comment will be, tell us what value that you just learned. All right, so tell us the value you got from the experience product phenomenon that Marisa is just talking about. You'll be able to click on here and actually download it. So when you click on it, it's going to take you to this page. You click download now, you put in your name and email, and that's going to take you over to her video where you're going to learn about the experience product phenomenon. And remember, when you do this, the most important thing is to click the share button. Okay, so I'm going to give you a big reason why you want to do this. So click the share button here, because that's going to share it on your profile. So you just click share. It's going to ask you where you want to share it. Just click share it on your own timeline and click post. Okay, so remember, when you do that, as all of you know, we have our Facebook ads agency. We're running an ad, so we're going to show this ad to over 500,000 business owners. And if you take the time right now to make a comment and click the share button, and again, the people who click the share button, you're going to get seen by more people, because I'm going to go back and reply to your share, and that gets you seen by more people. So just take a moment right now and just tell us what value you got from the experience product phenomenon. So Yvonne, thank you. You just did it right there. Appreciate that. And don't forget to click the share button. We're going to show this ad. We're going to spend a lot of money on this ad. We're going to show this ad to over 500,000 business owners. So if you want to get the free exposure, just take a moment, tell us a comment, and comment specifically on what you just learned. We went over some amazing information just now. Write the comment, click the share button, and then be sure to go in. Just click on this. It'll take you right over to liveyourmessage.com, and you can click download now. Whoops. And you'll be able to click download now there and put in your name and email. And then that's going to take you into, you'll be able to get the product right here. And that's going to take you into her video, which is really top notch. And then just tell us a little bit about what is the big program that you're going to be offering here. So, you know, for those of you out there, you're creating information products, you've heard of a product launch. They're in the process of doing a product launch right now. What's the actual program that you're going to be offering?
Sure. The actual program is the Experience Product Masterclass, and it's an 8-week program where you actually have an experienced product success coach as well, where you're going to design, market, and deliver your product in 8 weeks or less, and you're guaranteed to basically earn as much as you invest in the program. So you're going to focus on, you know, basically transforming your business by transforming your customers' lives, which is what it should be all about anyway. And you're going to figure out how to integrate all 10 of the experience formula principles that I teach in this video series that you're signing up for, not just to the delivery of your product, but to your overall product design and strategy and your product marketing, because these principles work across the board. And if you apply them, like Brett said, he just told me it's the best video that he's ever seen in one of these marketing videos.
Really good.
Is that you're actually going to make your marketing so much more exciting as well, and the product itself, and everything's going to become a lot more fun and exciting and enjoyable about your business, and you're going to have a lot more fun too.
Awesome. And so let me just go back here. So for those of you, Colleen Hammond, so you're going to get seen by 500,000 people. Don't forget to click the share button. Oh, she did it already. Fantastic. And let's see, Lynn Chaplin Noe. Hi, Lynn. You're going to get seen by 500,000 people. Deborah Jensen, you're going to get seen by 500,000 people. So if you haven't done this yet, right now, go to the page here. And so, you know, remember, obviously, the you making a comment and clicking the share button, obviously that's self-serving for us, but hopefully we've provided you enough value that you would be willing to not keep Marisa a secret by making this comment. And if you click the share button, because we're going to be spending a lot of money on this ad, it's going to be shown to 500,000 business owners and entrepreneurs. That's going to give you the opportunity to get seen by all those people for free. So hopefully that's compelling enough for you to take advantage of. I don't see any downside to getting free exposure for you there. But this has been absolutely phenomenal, Marisa. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on here. And do you have any just kind of last bit of advice of what should somebody do? You know, the people who they're just in that place of like getting their info product out there. What's your sort of parting words of advice for those folks?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing is that you have this amazing, unique opportunity right now as people are starting to not want to do any more info products, right? People just don't want them anymore, as you've seen. And if you come out with a product that's positioned like an experienced product, already you're going to have so much more interest. You can charge more money, and then you deliver this phenomenal experience as well. People are going to get better results, start to refer you and want to buy more from you. It's like a win-win-win game. So basically, whether you already have an info product that you want to breathe new life into, whether you want to create a new product and add it to your product suite, whether you want to create your first product, it's really important to understand and learn about this new experience product phenomenon, and not to create any more info products, because you're basically then investing in a dying industry. And I want you to make sure that your knowledge and your expertise is wrapped up into the most fun and engaging experience possible. So it's actually delivering the results that are possible through everything that you know and everything that you are, and can change people's lives for the better, because that's when business gets really fun, fulfilling, and successful.
Yeah, oh, that's so great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. So remember, right now, go to facebook.com/like Brett. Go to this post. It's the one that's pinned to the top. Write a little comment about the value that you just learned here, and we could see For those of you who have done it, Deborah, Lynn, Colleen, you guys are going to get seen by a whole lot of people. We sincerely appreciate you. Go ahead and write a little comment, click the share button, and that'll give you some great free exposure. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much one last time for being here with us, and thank all of you for tuning in. We're going to be here again next week, next Tuesday at the same time, to help grow your business together. So let's all say thank you and goodbye to Marisa. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.